There are people making tens of thousands of dollars online selling jewelry each month. And I myself, I've sold millions of dollars over the past few years. The reason people love selling jewelry is because the customers absolutely love the products when they receive them. There's no need to buy inventory up front. It's automatically fulfilled. There's no minimum orders. There's no need for your own product photography. You can customize it easily, and merchants have sold over $250 million worth of this type of jewelry alone. And the key to selling it is not to make it exquisite or to come up with a brand new jewelry design, but to create a heartfelt or funny design to go along with that jewelry you're selling. So what does that mean? Well, it's not the jewelry that we're designing, it is that card that sits in behind. Hitting your first $100, $1,000 or $10,000 online is made far easier when you understand the core fundamentals of print-on-demand products. And as I take you through what those fundamentals are, I am going to share with you some of my designs that have made me over 6 figures each. Now, when you're first starting online, one of the things that I see a lot of newcomers make is they try to create brand new phrases out of thin air. This is a problem because they don't have the experience to create poetic phrases or heartfelt or funny phrases that deeply connect with the target market. They are trying to reinvent the wheel. Firstly, I love the fact that they are doing this, but the problem is that you need to see what's selling out in the marketplace first and foremost to be able to get inspiration to create a phrase of your own. As your skill level increases, that's when you can start to be more creative. What you need to understand about print-on-demand jewelry is that every word must fight for its place on that card. If it's fluffy, feels like filler, or waffles, you need to kill it and rework it. Now, you could use AI, but a word of warning with that. With ChatGPT, what it seems to do is actually add a lot more of that fluff, when what we need to do is remove as much of it as possible. There are elements of the phrases that ChatGPT can create that work really well. So take what works and get rid of what doesn't. Part of your research process should be to emulate what's already working in the marketplace. Creating from scratch with no experience is like trying to service your own car, particularly if you're not a mechanic. There are several ways to see what is selling out there in the marketplace. Firstly, ShineOn sends out weekly recaps of what niches and product is selling very well. Jumping on those trends is a surefire way to stack the odds of success in your favor. One of my favorite ways to find new ideas to put on message cards is by using a tool like Sorting Social. It allows us to sort all the different pins that are on Pinterest based on a search term, and you can sort by engagement or saves. The higher that engagement, the more likely it is that that product deeply connects. And therein lies your ticket to creating a brand new design. There are several tools available to allow you to discover what is selling online, but by far and away, Sorting Social remains my favorite. Now, another trick that you can do is when you find those phrases, add a niche element to it. What I see a lot of brand new sellers doing, and even veteran sellers, is they go for the big, broad categories: husband to wife, mother to daughter. They put no thought to the niches, the proud professions that actually love to be able to profess what they love about the lifestyle they live and the people they live it with. That is where the majority of my success with print-on-demand jewelry has come from. So niching down could look like a lifestyle niche like bikers, wherein you start pulling in different elements of that lifestyle they're living together. This can be applied to so many different niches across the landscape. And straight up, what you're doing is cutting a lot of the saturation away. And this is where you find your penetration point to find those scalable winners that allow you to make those $10,000 plus months. If you would love my free 1,000 plus niche list guide, where I guide you through how to choose those niches and the products to use when doing it, make sure you click the link in the description below. Now, putting too much emphasis on a niche and lacking that cadence, flow, and rhythm is going to result in little more than cricket. It must be well thought out. Now, with this design in particular, which made over 6 figures in sales, the niche references on that are the wings and the "To My Writing Partner for Life." The niche relevant image that you're using on these designs only serves as a subtle subconscious cue for someone to stop and start reading. It does not need to be fancy. Putting too much emphasis on niching down can cross into tacky territory. Now, finding phrases that connect in the big niches is how you're going to be able to use them to niche down. If they're performing well in the big broad categories, they will perform well in the niche down ones. Cruising TikTok, the Facebook ads library, Google Images or paid spy tools will guide you into seeing what phrases are standing out. How do you know they do? Well, despite the massive number of reactions, they hit differently. You feel the emotion, and that's another thing I encourage you to do. Allow yourself to feel the sentiment that's in the message. If it makes you cry, chances are it's going to make them cry too. And we all know if they cry, they buy. Whether it's heartfelt and makes you feel a certain way when you're reading it or making you laugh, these are really good cues to use them in your designs. It's why the pieces sell. Save the design if you're inspired to it or it does make you feel something deeper. Chances are it's going to do the same to someone else and you're going to make some money. Everything you find online when you're doing this research should be saved to a tool like Trello. This allows you to visually organize all the different phrases that you're finding. Then once you start shortlisting, you should then transfer that into a spreadsheet. That way you can mix and match all the different phrases that you're finding to make something truly unique. Now, what sells print-on-demand jewelry? Hint: don't be boring. As I mentioned earlier, sentiment or humor are what sells these pieces. I have sold quite a few pieces with both heartfelt and humor-based messaging. What I find with humor, for me, is that it's much easier to stand out. What works for comedians is how absurd their stories are. Their punchlines are often unexpected, but each time they are well set up, which is exactly how to create funny connections that still create connection between the people who buy them. For example, one of my winning products was based on a design that I'd found and saved over 7 years ago. This particular design has sold over 1,000 units with variations of the design. The image I originally found was on a t-shirt and it read, "Forget the knight in shining armor, give me a biker in dirty leathers any day." I saw it and thought, there's something in that. And despite having seen that particular shirt hundreds of times over the years, it wasn't until I was in the right frame of mind with the right product at the right time that it inspired this particular phrase. Then as I was thinking on it, I was getting my hair cut and listening to the way she was talking, that inspiration hit me. I'd also seen another phrase do very well. It led into the phrase like this: "I'm not the guy that can say the right thing at the right time." At this point, I was getting very excited. In fact, like I said, I was getting my hair cut at the time and completely stopped listening to what the hairdresser was saying. And this is what it said: "To my soulmate, I'm not the guy that can say the right thing in the most romantic way or be your perfect knight in shining armor, but I'll always be your smoking hot, booty-touching best friend who will love, protect, and annoy you to the ends of the earth and back. P.S. Thanks for all the orgasms." Now, I did come up with a more PG rated version so I could get through the Facebook ban hammer, but I also sold that one. It was just a little bit more scary. So as you can see, there's a process to finding inspiration. First, researching to find those different elements that create that spark to find your winning products. You save them, and with continued design creation, launching and running ads, the inspiration starts to come to you. In this particular sprint, this was not the first design I'd created. It was actually number 50 and 59 that connected. It's the process of finding inspiration, running those ads, responding to the data, reiterating and launching more. And you have to maintain the belief that those winning products are going to pay for all that investment and give you the money on top, you know, the $10,000 plus month. Inside Podax, my coaching program for print on demand, not only am I teaching you how to create these amazingly heartfelt and humorous designs, I'm also giving you the step-by-step process to running your own paid marketing on Facebook and Instagram with the rules for cutting and scaling your campaigns. Next, you need to reflect on your own relationships. Within your immediate family, you will have dynamics with the different people within. For me, I like to tease my poor wife. It's certainly not for her pleasure because she gets annoyed every time I do it. But whilst in the moment it may be frustrating or annoying, it's actually what strengthens our bond. I probably should ask her about that. And it's the same with my children. There are emotions, sayings, and ways that we interact with each other that are not necessarily unique to our relationship. The push and pull, the fun, the way we engage. These are all things you need to think on when you're doing your research, because the more you can pull this emotion into your phrases, the more winners you're going to find. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, this particular piece pulled on that same relationship nuance I have with my wife. Only difference, is I was targeting the hunters. I had a gut feeling that the hunting community would have a similar dynamic with their own wives. And so when we created the phrase, my business partner at the time came up with it. It was this element that he injected into it. I then got to creating that design, building on the humor within. To my smoking hot dough. I've chased a lot of tail and spotted some fine racks in my time, but yours are the best by far. I love you. Now, if you take a look at that design, there are several elements that I've shared with you in this particular video that you can see on this design. Firstly, the niche relevant image. The orange in the deer is a color they resonate with because they wear it when they're out in the field so they don't get shot. So I knew that would stop them in their tracks when they saw it in their newsfeed. Tail, racks, innuendo sells. And so bring it together with those mating deer and the love hearts to sell that connection. It did incredibly well. If you'd like the case study of how I was able to do over $732,000 in 18 days with print-on-demand jewelry, make sure you get it from the link in the description below. I strongly encourage you to do that deep look into your own relationships to add that element to the designs and phrases that you're finding that are doing well in the marketplace. That's how you bring newness and uniqueness to it to really stand out. And again, don't be boring. Keep in mind, people are buying the moment. They aren't buying the jewelry. They are buying that phrase that deeply connects with them, makes them laugh, makes them cry, or makes them feel strongly in a certain way. Once you've sold them with the phrase, they talk themselves into the particular product you're selling, whether it's jewelry, canvas, or any other type of phrase-based product with print on demand. And because of that, you need to place most of the importance on the phrase you're creating, rather than a design that looks amazing. The beauty of simple designs, despite taking a lot less time to create, is they sell incredibly well. This is what I teach you inside products in the design domination. I teach you how to create these designs while putting maximum emphasis on the phrasing. In the program, I'm giving you the step-by-step blueprint to creating those $5,000 to $10,000 plus months in as little as 2 hours a day, so you can create more time freedom and financial independence in your life. You can check that out by clicking the first link in the description below. Watch the quick video, then book a call with my team and I'll have a chat to you over there. Now, if you'd like to deep dive into the different components that make up this message card jewelry, then make sure you watch this video next. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay awesome.